Just
And there's really no like nothing to pick at it with. Like
just keep it.
That's the glory of like, I think when I went to film school, and honestly, like what I kind of picked up most from film school, other than like I don't like to make films, is like your setup is your setup. Yes. Like there's no like if you go to my house right now, I've been like trying to like not influence, but like show more of my personality on my own social. And so in my room, you would think I have a tripod. You can't see what's behind the camera. You can't see what the camera's sitting on, right? I've got a moving storage box with my signed college commitment to West Virginia plaque and another assortment of items inside the box, and then I have 4 shoe boxes sitting on that with my camera
just holding
on
it up.
top of it. And I'm like, and I posted a story the other day too, and I was like, film major but doesn't own a tripod. Like, but it's whatever you can do to make it work, as long as that looks good out of camera. You're done. You've done your job.
And you know, that's the beauty of it. Like everyone has their own way of figuring it out.
Yeah.
And I think that's the artistry part of it, right?
Yeah.
And how do you convey that? Because
I think that is like being an artist, though, right? Yeah. Like it. However you can get it done. If it's the shot you're looking for, if it sounds the way you want it to look for, like that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
It's not like, you know, there's. Not to like geek out, but like go look at maybe like an early Tarantino film or something like that, right? Like you'll hear like all these stories of methods of how they got this shot done or whatnot, and you know, on screen you're like, wait, this is great, and then like you have no idea on any movie set how they're doing things. Yeah, and you just automatically assume, oh, we're like I'm in a movie theater watching like a big time film. They have a professional setup, which is probably most of the time, but you just never know like what someone's setup is. I remember making all these short films in college and just being like, okay, I don't have anything but like, you know, like this crappy little mic, this like, what is it? Like my Canon 60D or something. And I had like my roommates and just like remember like shooting a scene in like in our little bathroom, and it was like a shower. I'm getting so off the rails right now, but
you're good.
You know, like I'm making like my roommates like take like 10 takes in a bathroom. It was this random shot of my roommate Thomas taking a shower, and he's trying to get like, he's had this terrible week, and our roommate's annoying the living crap out of him. And he's like trying not to hang out with him, but my roommate's trying to hang out with him. And like he opens the shower curtain, and our annoying friend's like right there when he gets out of the shower, and he's like, hey, like, what are you doing? Yeah. And he's like, what are you, like, why are you in here?
I'm trying to get my day going.
Yeah, literally. And like, and I, like, he's legit like shower on, turning it off, like hair is wet, like opening the curtain. I'm like, do it again, do it again, do it again. And it's just like a scene of him like trying to get away. And he was like, all right, like, if you beat me in rock, paper, scissors, like I'll leave you alone. And so it's just like the scene in like the shower. They're playing rock, paper, scissors. My buddy's like half naked, hair is doused in water. My other buddy's just like right there. Like, I don't know how we got there. But as far as like setup, I was like, it turned out great. I think I got like 100 on the project. But my setup was like nothing.
It was just super basic.
Exactly. Yeah, and then the audio was fine. Camera was great, but it was just such like a unique scene. It's just like however you can get it done and make it look, that's all that matters.
Well, hold on, your buddy played along with this. So he's like, all right, I'll go do paper, rock, scissors. Just leave me alone.
Yeah, I think we called it Rochambeau too.
Yeah.
And I just thankfully like they were also like one's a musician, one he's done all sorts of things, but like he is a creative like at heart, and I'm just like throwing the like. We had the script right and everything for this thing, and like I gave it to them, and they were reading it. I think it was called Icebox, and like the weird underlying theme of this whole short film was like the apartment was like freaking cold, and which was like such like a not important thing, but they were like yeah, like they were so invested in it with me, which is so cool. And like it kind of like makes me wish like, you know, like I did more of these things when I was in college. But yeah, man, I don't know how we got to this topic, but it was just like a fun like the artistry of like making stuff and creating stuff. And like, I know we're here to talk about Loose Lace and, you know, kind of how I reference how I learned that I didn't like to make films because I was so invested in like the actual shooting the content part. And as I like went through school, I learned that making the film is majority writing the script, storyboarding. It's all like the pre-shoot stuff, and then there's post.
Yep.
Shooting the content is like 1% of the whole thing.
Yep.
And so I was like, man, like maybe this isn't like.
There's a lot
I
of
kind of got talked out of it when I was in school, and then like fast forward and Loose Lace is going on, and like, you know, I'm looking more into like what I'm doing with it now, and I'm like, I'm legit just making a film basically. Like all this stuff before the event lasts 2 hours.
Yeah.
But the weeks and weeks and weeks in advance of putting stuff together and reaching out to partners and collaborating with people, and then the after of editing posts and like making sure that you have all this content to like also help carry, like build your portfolio and like, you know, the makeup of what you do is essentially like making a film. And like it's crazy how like I talked myself out of this in school, and here I am that found like a new like unlocked passion, and I'm essentially doing the same thing.
It's like you went on a bunch of side quests.
Yeah.
And then it circles back to what you really want to do. But, but it's almost like you had to go through that.
100%. Like if I didn't go to film school, you're right. Like I don't have this like, even though I didn't like it, you still learn kind of like the framework of it, right? So like going to script writing, going to, you know, my audio class, going to like editing, like Adobe Premiere editing class. Like there's all these things that like we did that provided the framework of like building, creating, you know, this film and, you know, translating it over to creating whether it's a run club event or just like a big socializing event, right? Like to get people in, like you've got to call people, you've got to sell what you're trying to make, like, you know, call it being a producer. Yeah. Hey, like we're making this movie, we're making this, you know, this film, this TV show, yada, yada, yada. Here's the script. Like you've got to sell what you're doing to someone to receive like their buy-in or their money, right? And my instance, I'm trying to sell, you know, whether it's a tech rep, a shoe rep, Fleet Feet, you know, someone that's got a cool little business going on, whether it's, you know, the breakfast spot down the street, and just being like, hey, like, hey, I love y'all shop. Like and that also helps is like being a fan of what they do. Yes. And you're not just pulling them in just for, just clout reasons or just like, hey, like I need a name a part of this. Like also being invested in what they do and being a fan of them, because you can't I can't fake talking about, like, if I wasn't like ODBs, like them being a part of today, like I've gone to ODBs for like the last 2 years before they were even ODBs. And like, I've loved their shop. I love what they do. Like I love their product, their food. Like that helps also trying to get them, because like you can't fake that passion or, you know, what you like about them. So, it's like, I'm almost like a producer in a way. And I'm also like an event planner. And so I've learned to fall in love with like all the little parts of building up what like you're trying to make, and like the experience for all the people that do, you know, whether it's 5 people that come or whether it's 400 people that come, the work that you put in beforehand, it makes the event come to life more when you see it like happen. And it's like, great, like this is awesome. Like that's those 2 hours versus the 4 weeks of planning. It's worth it.
But you know, it's putting in those reps, right? Because then you get to do what you really love to do, and that's for like that short period of time during the event. Yeah. But just like film school, you have to do all that prep, and you don't realize it, and you realize like, oh, I had to do all this so I could get to here, but this is what I want to do. 100%. And you just enjoy what you love doing. 100%.
I think also I'd be remiss to not mention, like in the most humble way, like me being a former Division I baseball player. Like I've said it my whole life, and I think it'll be relevant the rest of my life, is baseball has legit opened every door that I've ever walked through. And that's why, like, I still coach baseball to this day. Like, I owe everything to the game of baseball. And I'm thankful that I was, talented enough to take it to a level that, like, most people don't. And with that, it's Monday through Friday, 5:30 a.m. workouts. Like, there is a work ethic that, whether you go into college with a work ethic or whether you don't have a work ethic when you go into college, I definitely learned a lot of a lot of habits that I have today are because of that sport that I played and the coaches that I had and the teammates that I had with me. And like, you just learn like accountability, and you learn like how not to cheat yourself, and like there's no shortcuts to success. Like, you truly have to earn and work for things, and like that's where like the fruits come to life, is like if you actually work and put in the diligent effort into baseball. You work out a whole fall to have a great spring, or essentially to like work for the spring, right? Like, the spring isn't as fruitful if like you're not working for it in the fall, right? Like, so I've translated even after sport has ended, the way I go about life, like, it's just, I think the way baseball and like sport has served me has like now just stuck with me. And I think there's a testament to like companies like hiring athletes too. Like, they know what they go through in college, right? There's almost like a, you have like, there is a big, how would you say it? Like, by any means necessary, like finishing the job.
Like, get it done, just get there.
There's like a characteristic, there's that personality trait of like, this guy is going to get the job done no matter what it takes. If it's staying 2 hours later, if it's staying 5 hours later, this guy has an assignment. Like, that's just something that we learn in college, going through, weights and team bonding and stuff, where it's like, you have a job, and like your job is to get that thing done, and it's by any means necessary. And so that has like translated into my post-athlete career, no matter what it is, and my journey that has gotten me to this point. So there's definitely a mixture of things that I've learned in my past that has like kind of helped fuel the way I go about things nowadays, just with making run club events, which is hilarious, like so unserious.
But it's you just can't just do it. There's layers to it, and I think the word is grit, right?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Like, you got to have a level of grit to get you through these hard times.
Yeah.
But then they also get you to see where you're trying to go.
Yeah.
And you just keep peeling the layers and keep pushing forward, and that's what's going to get you there. But you don't know completely, but you just got to keep going,
Yes. Yeah, grit is a great word. And I'm laughing because like I've mentioned, I coach right now. They're 13 and 14-year-olds in baseball. I would say that's my full-time job. And I love these kids to death. Like, they all feel like my little brothers. And they, as much as they make me laugh and smile, they also piss me off. And I think the older they get and the more serious the game gets, they're kind of at the age where, they're getting to high school, and it's like, okay, like, they kind of need to decide, like, do I want to pursue this for college?
Yeah.
And I think the culture of sport, like, used to be, you didn't have to be 14 and be like, oh yeah, I want to go play college baseball or pro baseball. Like, you could, you had some years, but like nowadays, like with how competitive things have gotten, you kind of do have to decide earlier whether or not like you want to pursue this. And because now college kids nowadays look like 30-year-old grown men. It's just like the way people work out and how competitive they are. And just like with sports science and everything, like you kind of have to start getting after it younger. But grit is a word that comes up a lot, because grit seems to come, I guess, a lot of that has to do with how you grow up, who raised you, the environment that you were raised in. And the grittiest people that I knew that I played with, were more or less the ones that maybe didn't come from the more affluent places.
Oh yeah.
And it was just like a figure it out mentality, right? Like, and so I love my kids to death, and you know, they don't choose the areas they live in, right? Like they're born into it, and that's great. And their parents have worked hard to get there. Like but with that, there's a grit level and some people are born with it, I would say. Like they kind of just have that competitiveness, but it is a hard thing to adopt whenever your life, when you don't walk off the baseball field and you go home and you don't have to be gritty, if that makes sense. Yep. And so there is a factor of grit that like helps you in life, of just kind of pushing through things and figuring out things. And that's like one thing, like I catch myself saying to these kids, as well as like my colleagues that are also coaching, and they're like, you know, when you go through like the post game and you get your ass beat by this team and like you're trying to go down, and sometimes like the other team legit just plays better than you, and then sometimes you're like you can't get a break and every ball you hit goes right to the person, and like you don't really know what to say after the game, and sometimes it's just like you weren't gritty enough, like you just didn't have like that extra like effort in you, like and I know the kids are like,
what do you mean? Like,
what are you talking about?
We played
grit, like, and it's such a hard thing to explain, and it's one of those qualities that like people just kind of have. Yeah. And it's not one of those tools that a coach can teach.
It's not readily available.
Right. I think it's maybe something you can recognize. Yeah. I think there's a lost art in sport today where like I remember growing up and like going to an Astros game, for me being from Houston, and watching my favorite players or the position that I play and seeing how that guy goes about his job, or the way he bats. You know, everyone has a batting stance. And then translating that into my games when I go to the field, and I'm like, oh, I just watched, you know, Craig Biggio was a guy that I watched growing up, and it's like, or Derek Jeter was like, you know, my inspo growing up, and you know, it's like, how can I like hit like Jeter? Exactly. Like I would try and bring that into my game, and I think nowadays that's such a lost art that these kids just don't, you know, whatever you want to say, it's video games or they're on social media, because they have like a lot more kids have smartphones at this age than I did, and you know, they don't pay attention to baseball as keenly as I did or as other people did. And it's just like stuff like that where like, watch that player, see what he does, see how he runs out of the box. Yeah. Because that was something I did, like sliding hard into a bag. Like there's just little details to why these guys are the best at what they do. And it's like, why don't I try and do what they're doing, right? And so there's things like that, and they're unteachable. It's just like, just watch someone and try and copy it, right?
But you know, like, I think that goes into a deeper conversation of having mentors, having great examples in your life to kind of show you these things. Yeah. Or like being a coach, like from your experiences, hey, let me show you some of these things of what I've seen and see if you can incorporate this in your game. Yeah. Because you don't have to necessarily be in a rough spot to get that grit, but if you can see examples of people that's already been there, can you add this to your game? But you got to add the mental part, where I think a lot of people aren't willing to cross that threshold, you know? Yeah,
there's the mental side, man. It's we're lucky enough that we actually have a mental coach that we utilize for the team, which is awesome. It's incredible. And as a former teammate of mine in high school, his dad, who's incredible at what he does. His resume is insane. And we've seen great improvements with our kids, and they're in such a weird time right now. You remember when you were 14, like that, just like that middle age of just like
trying to figure it out.
Dude, you don't know what's going on. You don't know why you're pissed off. You don't know why you're eating more food. Like there's, and as a coach, we try and do our best not to, I guess, you know, every kid and there's so many personalities on our team, and you have to like figure out why are they acting the way they are? Like, you don't want to, you know, be lighter fluid on that fire, right? Yeah. Like, how can I help that kid? Because sometimes it's not just about on the field. A lot of it is like off the field stuff, right? Yeah. And
Like, how do you balance that?
Yeah, and it's really hard to understand each kid, and like you don't have them at the house, right? Like you just see them at the field for the most part, and like you want to be like a good mentor and like create a good experience for them, and so there's like this balance of like trying to juggle like doing the right thing on the baseball field, but then you're also like this kid's going through something that you don't really know the depths of, and you're trying not to make things harder for the kid, which is just gonna like for the longevity of his, you know, existence, his adulthood, like, you know, you don't want to add on to that fire and you want to be helpful too. So that is a tricky like boundary. And we've had a lot of those, and we've had to like tiptoe around it and just be like, you know, because like I said, those kids piss me off sometimes, and it's really because of like effort.
Yes.
And that's the one thing, like we always say, like you can control that, and then it goes into something else that's maybe triggering them to like, you know, they have a mental block right now, and it's sometimes you just have to be like, you have to suck it up and be like, you can't do anything about it right now. Just move on to the next kid and just let him be, because you're not fixing it. So yeah, that's it. Like I could get into coaching a lot. So no, man, that you bring up some great points, and
but you know, this applies to just everyday too, because like just growing up and becoming an adult, you're or just a game of life. You're constantly being challenged. You're constantly everyone's going through something. Yes. But to be better at it, you have to do something, right? Yeah. Like if you want to be, I don't know, good at running, you got to do some weightlifting, but then you got to put in your reps on your runs. I believe you also got to run like in different seasons, so you could like, you can't always run when the weather's great.
No, man. I'm so that's making me think. So I'm running New York City in November. You're doing it's my first marathon. Woo! I'm so excited about it, but I'm terrified. Equally as terrified, because it's real. It's like, wow, I have to train. I guess I don't have to, but like it'd be a good idea. It'd be a great idea. I think it would help me. I think it would help me not get injured. But you know, I think there's a competitiveness in me that like, and that's been the hardest thing about running is like you go from a sport where like you train, you know, whether it's speed, weightlifting, arm velocity, exit velo off a bat, like there's measurables that you train for that you can see differences in. So like you take a whole fall to work on strength and speed. Well, you would hope that your clock time on your 60-yard dash will go down. You want to see like your exit velo off a baseball bat go up because you're stronger and quicker and all that, right? Running's an interesting thing because it's no battle is the same each day, right? Like you're competing with yourself. Like any given day, you could feel different. Like you might not feel as good as the day before or the day after. Elements are different. Yep.
But you got to show up for yourself.
You do 100%. And time isn't even like, I'm talking about like how speed and like all that, like you're trying to get a faster time. Running is different. Like it's not just about time. Yeah. Like you've got a volume train, you've got all these things that I'm still learning about. Like I'm just giving lingo, and like honestly, like I don't know much about it, but I used to find myself running and it's like, every single day that I go running, I'm trying to beat my like mile time or like my 3 mile time from the day before. And it's like, but that's not really how it should be. I'm not getting anywhere with that. Right. So that's the hard part. And the other thing, and I have to remind myself about this all the time, is no one cares about your time.
No one does.
No one cares. No one's looking at you, clocking you. No one cares. Am I a professional runner? No. Like, I can't talk for the Olympians in the world and like people, have a hyper focus on them and like what they're running, right? Because that's their dailyhood. I'm just a dude that's from Houston that goes to Denver sometimes, does these run club events, and likes running, and nobody cares about what time I run. Like so I think that's also like having this humility of like, what am I like trying? Like, there's nobody I'm trying to impress. Yeah. So running's so interesting in the aspect of like how challenging it is on any given day, and like how disciplined you have to be for yourself. And like, you're right, like you have to show up for yourself, and you have a baseball, you have a group of teammates, and I've always loved team sport. And this is why I think running's such a challenge for me too, because it's like you are accountable for you. And so I'm talking about like all sorts of climates and weathers and like different settings and environments. Like Houston, I'm gonna start training in like July-ish, probably 4 months out. Houston in July is
gross,
the worst time to run.
Yeah.
So I have to be disciplined on probably like whenever my long runs start coming.
Yeah.
I've got to be diligent. I've probably got to wake up at 4 a.m. to run at 90 degrees.
It's gonna be so sweaty and humid.
It's be disgusting.
Yeah.
And
but you know what? So I truly believe like you need the physical and mental to challenge you, and that physicality to get through that is gonna challenge you mentally. And just being able to just suck it up.
Yeah.
Like how do you find that? You just have to do it, you know?
I'm leaning on people for sure that I've run it before, just to kind of like pick their brains. I'm gonna have to ask some friends, the ones that have probably run marathons, to like follow me on a bike or something for my long runs, just to like have some fuel. I needed like, part of it's like kind of like a science project for me. Like I don't know what like snacks and like fuel and gels and all that like will like help me. But
that's the fun part, because you're gonna learn a lot about yourself.
Yeah.
And again, that mental part is that acceptance part, because it's gonna change the way you think about training. It's gonna change the way you think about getting work done, and you're gonna have to get gritty out there.
Yeah, again, the G word comes back up, man. Like grit is like, that is, and yes, running in that weather, training for something so big, but like I know like the payoff is gonna be so fun.
But I think you have some advantages though, because you're a coach and you've played at a high level before, so you know what needs to get done. And I'm sure you probably have some good habits where they could probably translate to this new training regimen, because when you were playing professionally or in college, right? You probably like didn't like going to practice all the time. But you got
to push through, dude. Like there's trauma from 5:30 a.m. workouts. Like I can't remember the song. I think it was like an AC/DC song. And Kale, who was our strength coach, I had Kale 3 out of 4 years in college at 2 different schools. And he is, I mean, great human. Like talk about like, you want a coach that's been through like a grit of a life. His life story is awesome, and just who he comes from, his parents, like that guy is grit. Like Kale is grit, and like he taught us that.
That's great.
He didn't just teach it. Like you could tell that he went through it every single day. Like you could tell like that was like a person. That was like a life thing.
Part of his life.
Oh my gosh! And so, I mean, we're in such a world of collaborations and partnering and like fusing brands together that like might not even make sense. Like the one that comes off the top of my head is my buddy here in Denver, Connor, who works for I think Crocs and Hey Dude. And Crocs just did a collaboration.
Cool too.
Like they're doing a lot of stuff. Crocs just did a collaboration with Barber. Jackets that are like, I think Barber like started in England. Like they're like those wax coats, trench coat style stuff. And Crocs just did a collab with them. And it's like, in what world do Crocs and Barber jackets like?
How did that conversation start?
Crazy. And so, but like it's stuff like that, like that's so cool. And honestly, like it fuels me to like do stuff and like, you know, reach out to people and try and do things that are just like very out of the box for Loose Lace. Like I don't want Loose Lace to be cornered as a run club.
Just a running club.
I want it to be like more of an experience in a way. And like where Run Club is like where we're like starting, that's like kind of like the building block and the foundation. Like as we get bigger and we become more credible, that's where we can start getting like, you know, our foot in other doors. And you know, I've had other people like ask me like, what is Loose Lace? Like, what's it like? And I'm like, I don't know. We do run events, but I want to do other cool stuff. And if that turns into different experiences that have nothing to do with running, like, I think that's cool. And I think it's like, I would love for it to become this deal where it's like, oh, Loose Lace is going to this place. And like, they're doing like a bar tab, or they're doing, you know, like they're doing this whole event that's not even like running centered. and it's more of just like a group, a social group, like an event group, whatever, like that will help spread the brand and build something bigger than just a run club, where like run club is like still a part of it.
Yeah.
Well,
I'd say like
just doing more.
Like it's like the run club is the basis of it.
Yeah.
But from my conversations with people and joining you in it, I mean, it's definitely an experience, but you're bringing a lot of people together. We had my friend Jack, the adoption agency for dogs.
Yes.
We have Sweat Pals.
Yeah.
Like people are coming from Colorado Springs and other parts of
blows my mind.
I'm just, how did you hear about this? But obviously there's something, a synergy is going on.
Yeah.
And people are genuinely wanting to do this and they're making friends. So when you were starting all this, was this kind of like the plan initially, or because it seems like it's catching fire?
Yeah, it's like when it came to starting Loose Lace, I had just moved. I think it was like a few months after I was living in Denver, actually, and I had gotten back to Houston, and we're almost at a year now. It was around May, where like the run culture had just like really taken another step, and I had gotten into it a little bit, like not competitively at all. Like I always say I'm a running poser. Like I love all the gear. I love like these brands, but like I don't run competitively. I don't run like, again, my first marathon's in November. Like, but I've seen what it does. I've seen what it does for community. You know, I know run clubs can get some heat for, and there are a lot of run clubs that I don't think do it right.
Yeah. A
lot of controversial things that they do and like how they go about things. And I know a lot of like very serious, passionate runners like look at run clubs kind of like with a kind of like a squinted eye, just like, and you know, to each is their own. Like everyone has their opinion, but for me, and I think it's because these run clubs turn into something that like don't mean like it's not about running. It's more about like, you know, you've heard people, oh, it's just like a relationships club and stuff like that, and like. That is not and at all is like that is not a focus of mine. It's not even. I've told people I'm like that's the farthest thing I want. Like if something friendships happen organically, that's great.
Yeah.
But it completely changes the vibe of like a whole of like what you're trying to do if like that's the intention. And like for me, it was like I wanted friends.
Yeah. Well, I'm seeing communities coming together.
Yeah.
Like
from that's all the over. Most important thing. Like that's why like if you look at the Instagram, like if it's. I'm never on it. It's just, if I'm promoting an event or talking about an event that like I want people to come out to, I'll get on the mic and I'll talk about it. But as far as like the event photos and stuff, like obviously I'm taking the photos, but like I don't want to be in it, like because it's not about me. It's about everybody else and giving them a time and experience. And like I don't want to be seen as like this person that's like doing this for me. I want to bring people together and like give them just a space to like hang out, meet people, you know, kind of get away from, you know, for a couple hours, get away from whatever their daily life is. And like, really, and like, I appreciate everybody that does invest their time with what we have going on. But yeah, Loose Lace started as just a way of me trying to find more friends. And thankfully, like I'm blessed to know a lot of people in Houston, but I've never been stuck to like a friend group. I've kind of been like a floater and I know a lot of different people.
Did you see it flourishing the way it is right now in Denver?
No. Yeah. That was like so random too. I think it got to the point where like, we had gained some traction, and I remember just being, and I have friends here. Like I have a lot of friends here, which has helped and is for sure like the reason like why I came up here. And so I just tried like to do one, and thankfully like my friends who own Boost Pilates here in town, I kind of like collaborated with them to kind of do this thing because Boost has an incredible following here. And they do it right, and the people that go to Boost are incredible people. So I was like, wait, this would be like a really fun way to get my foot in the door with Denver and kind of spread the word and whatnot. And so thankfully, like we did a couple meetups there, and it gained a little bit. They weren't like, you know, crazy events or anything, but it was like a really good small. I want to say we got 30 to 40 people, which is great.
That's a good size, yeah.
And everybody enjoyed it, and you know, these events, I try and talk to everybody that I can. It's gotten to the point where like it's hard to talk to everybody.
Yeah.
But I want to be personable with these people, and like I want to make it feel like they're like seen and that they're like that their attendance is appreciated, right? Because you can go to a lot of these other events and, you know, people don't give you the time of day.
No.
And I want to make sure that ours is very, very, I want to make sure that people know that them being here is so important, because it doesn't, I can put all this together, but without people's attendance, like it's nothing. Like they're the ones that bring everything to the table and bring an energy and a vibe, that helps capitalize, and, you know, that translates into the next event and the next event and the next event.
Well, them sticking around and just continually talking to each other.
Yeah.
I think that's a testimony of like people building those relationships and actually enjoying their time here.
For sure. And what I tell people is like, yeah, like I started this for me originally, but in Houston, where we have more consistency, I've a lot of friends that I met, but I've seen other people, and I'm talking specifically about one group that I actually call like my executive board in Houston. They're incredible people, but I think there's 6 of them, 7 of them. Each person met each other at Loose Lace.
Oh, cool.
Did not know each other outside of Loose Lace. And now they all hang out outside of Loose Lace. Like they are like their core friend group, which has been like from my seat, it's been the most special thing to see that people have found friends that probably needed people.
Yeah.
And that's why I did like that. And that's what keeps me going. That's why the next one goes and the next one goes and the next one goes, because I want this to be a place where people, like, running is just an excuse to do these things.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? Like it's like, again, like we're not here to marathon train. But we want to be like a safe place, one, for people that like might want to get out and exercise, but like are too intimidated to go to like another run club, or like, that's where I get into like the pace group talk, is like, we don't have pace groups because, you know, your pace is the best pace. There's no ego running. You don't need to, I don't want people rolling up here like thinking that they need to like be someone they're not. Like, again, nobody cares what your pace is. Nobody. No one's keeping track of it. Never once in my life have I been on a track and been like, that person's running this speed, this person. I don't care. No one cares. And I want people to know that.
Yeah. It's funny you bring that up, because that's like a big topic in a lot of run groups.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, open to all paces. And when you go, they're not. And people are intimidated by that.
Exactly. And like the run clubs that do have pace groups, like, and again, to each is their own.
Yeah.
If you really are like a running centered run club, like I get it. But for me, like if you go to our Instagram, it's the best run club for the most average runner, right? Like and that's why we have 3 groups, or at least 3 in Houston. I want to start a 3rd one here, the red light, green light group. But, you know, I tell our running leader like to like run at like a 10-minute pace, right? And I let people know like in the breakdown, like honestly, like you could go grab a coffee and sit down for breakfast and like come back and hang out with us after. Like there's no expectations here. We have a walking group only, and then red light, green light, like what I was saying, is like a 3-minute on, 3-minute off. Like the people that like want to run but don't want to walk, the whole, like it's a middle ground.
Well, I'll say the experience here is it's very open, and people are like, yeah, I'll just walk it. And then some people, yeah, I'll run it, but everyone still hangs out.
Yeah.
And they can have a conversation together.
And that's the biggest thing, is the pace group feedback that I've gotten from people that have gone to run clubs with pace groups have been like, the clickiness is non-existent. You know, you think about it and you're running with a pace group, you're grouped up with this group of people that you probably ended up talking to after or hanging out with. At least if you go to this event weekly and you're running with the same people, naturally you're going to be very close to them. And that's great. But here, like I want it to feel like an open floor of just like networking. And that's why I do pop-ups at not just one spot, but like other places. I like networking. I like meeting people. You just never know what doors open just from meeting people, right? So that's been one piece of feedback that I've really enjoyed, of just like, hey, like I've talked to so many people today and it doesn't feel cliquey. It doesn't feel like, you know, there's any cold shoulders that I can't like walk up to. It's just a really, really an open conversational place. And I love that. And now it's turned into something that like people ask me what's your goal? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I really don't know. I don't know like what my vision is for it. You know, I've said a little bit about like becoming just like this event club, social club.
But it's more than that, because I think people are looking for something, but running is a great excuse to kind of start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And you've connected with so many people, so many organizations, and I don't know, just kind of affected people in a way where it's positive.
Yes. Yeah. And it's like I do have goals with it. I for sure do. I'm in this place of just like, who else can I collaborate with? Who can I partner with? Who can I reach out to? And like, I think what I've learned too is just shooting for the stars.
Yeah.
Like using your network, I've always, how like someone's like, hey, like call me if you ever need any help. Right. Like, and it's more of just like a gesture and like a saying that you say and like kind of.
Right. Like,
I'm going to take that to heart. I'll remember that. Right. But there's a proper way to go about it.
Yes.
And not like a using way.
Yeah,
like
not transactional.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, hey, like, if you say that, like I will use it. Like that's what networking is. Right. And like, I will venture if there's something that like I see or like, ooh, that's a great company. Oh, John's friends with this person that works with them. Right. Like, in the most respectful way, like I'm going to try and figure out how like I can utilize that, right? And like no pressure on you to make it happen. Like I'm just here to see like what you think or what maybe you have maybe they have advice on like how you can go about it, right? So just shooting for the stars, and if it doesn't work out, like you're not in a worse place than before, right? So and then I've also seen like I'm not a salesman, right? But like there's been some parts of this job, essentially, like this is a job now, where I have to sell loose lace, right? Like if I have to do these partnerships and collaborations to build these events, like I have to sell my brand. And, I was in a sales job like real quick, and sales job is like a weird thing to say because it really wasn't. Like I was just like taking phone calls and like putting orders in. But I've kind of like always been not disgusted, but like turned off by like the sales rep of just like
just kind of just selling you, but not actually wanting you.
You can see there's a fakeness to some people. This isn't all salesmen, but like I could never do a sales job that like I didn't believe in something, and that helps. Like, you'll hear people say like you got to believe in the product, but some people like fake themselves into believing in the product, and I can't do that. But like I believe in loose lace, and I believe in like what I've been doing with it, and like what the core values are. Like I believe it. And I think that the people that I've been able to hop on board with us and like help the other people see our vision. I think it's helped because they see that I believe in it too. And like when you see someone like actually believe, like they've got to like love the concept and everything too, but they see how like passionate I am and like how much I believe in it. I think also helps bring people on board.
But it's all those little things you're doing too, like sending those photos to them, talking to people at the event. Like genuinely being a person.
Now that you say that too, I've explained this to a couple people, but after our events, like I never ask anybody to post stuff, right? Like that, there's a fakeness to that, and I don't want that to happen. Like if they're having a good time, people will take out their phones and record and post a story, whatever. And it's so appreciated. Never ask for it. But when I go like on Instagram after our events and we have a great event and, I've got, 30 notifications or 30 people shared stories, right? Like it's the small details. Again, I go to those posts and I repost them because people love when you repost their stuff and they feel seen and, but I message them directly. Each person that does it, it'll take me a couple hours, but I want to get like each person, I say, hey, thanks so much for doing this. Like, thanks for taking time out of your day to come hang out with us. And like, just that I know has gone the extra mile. Because like I'm looking at their stuff, but I'm actually like investing in like what they're also doing for me. And that's how you get repeat attendees. That's how you get people to come back. That's how you get people to tell their friends to come back. And it's not just something that I do because it's going to help us. I do it too because they're like, they don't have to do that. It helps me a lot. And I really do appreciate their investment in like what I put together for everybody. So that's just another thing that I think, it takes a little bit of time and longevity wise, like you're going to get a lot out of it. So who knows when we have 50,000 followers,
well,
I gotta find an intern or someone or else someone's going to get mad at me because I'm gonna be on my phone all day responding to everybody. But like right now, like that is a really important thing that like, I don't think a lot of people think of that I think does go a long way.
Oh yeah, I'd say definitely goes a long way because people appreciate that because a lot of times people attend these things, but they won't know if who the host will actually address them, you know?
Yeah.
And they're just like, whoa, like
Yeah.
like you like my post and
Yeah.
you saw me over there. That's great.
It's another way to engage with these people.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I even sometimes I'll go across like to the point where like on their posts, like I saw them, but I never got to go to them. And some of these people can kind of be like, I am the least intimidating person, at least in my eyes. Like I'm the least scary person ever. But I can understand like some people because I've been in those shoes too before. Like whoever the leader is or whatever it is from like their viewpoint, like that person can kind of be like intimidating to walk up to. And I try and tell people like, hey, like just walk up to me. Like I'm the least intimate. Like I'll lock in with you and we'll talk for 20 minutes. And I'm like, oh shit, I shouldn't even be talking right now. I gotta go do my job.
But I would say like that's another aspect of Loose Lace is it's very approachable.
Yeah.
And not just as the group of people, but yourself.
Yes.
And I think that just echoes and people could feel that.
Good. And that I think thank you for saying that. And as this thing has grown, like sometimes people have had to remind me like, hey, like what you have is special, you know, like, and there's a self-belief factor to it. And like, I'm still training myself to believe it. But like, when it comes to doing these events with people in Houston and trying to sell myself and, now it's gotten to a point where like, I'm trying to monetize it a little bit, right? Because I spend most of my day doing it. It is my job. It is my passion. It's something that I've grown into like this thing that like I want to do full time.
Yeah.
And, trying to get someone to, buy into it and like believe in it and like, pay me back in a way of like, hey, like I'm bringing people to your business, et cetera. I have to believe in like what I do and like what I'm bringing to the table. And like part of that is, if someone would be like, well, I can get it. Like there's a billion other run clubs that I can get, right? It's like, you're right, but you cannot get mine.
Yes.
There and I say that with humility too. I'm not saying that as like an egotistical person. Like, my self-belief is like I bring something to the table. Like it starts from the top, right? Any company starts from the top. Who's the leader? They set the tone and the energy for the company. We talked about Minted, Marcus and Sean. Those two people they've got an aesthetic, they've got a creative mind, but like they also have their own personalities. No one else is Marcus and Sean Million.
Yep.
They are their own personalities and people love their personalities. And that's what attracts people to Minted.
Yep.
And I'm trying to like believe myself and not blow my head up, but it's like, there's no other Tucker. There's no other person that can bring what Tucker brings to the table. And that's why you should invest in Loose Lace, right? And so it's hard to train yourself and think like that. And I think to a fault, like my whole life, I've always been like if I give myself too much credit, I'm going to get humbled. And it's
like this.
It is. There's ebbs and flows for sure. And sometimes I get scared to be like that confident. Like I was always that person that like lacked confidence.
Yeah.
And I think it was just the way I was raised. And there was like a part of it where like when I got too confident or like too, not cocky, like it just like if I believed in myself a lot, like it felt like it was too good to be true. And like I would like humble myself and like not give myself the credit that I should.
That's where I think you have like, your mentors, your coaches, your friends, like do your check-ins with them.
Yeah.
And no pun intended, but do a lap away from what you normally do.
Yeah.
And just kind of do a little bit of self-reflection and go, is this where it should be going? Is this
For sure. For sure. No, and like just the other day, and it wasn't like anything groundbreaking, but like I went to my first run club ever. Not mine. I started Loose Lace without ever going to someone's run club.
Isn't that crazy?
Never like, and you could see it two ways. Like I could like see like maybe if I did go to some run clubs, like I could have like brought like from an earlier, time of Loose Lace, I could have like had more ideas or like directed it a certain way. But I think the part where like I do appreciate the fact that I started without ever having experience and just kind of seeing what I saw from like social and whatnot is it really, really did like bring like an authentic part of like what I like wanted to bring, right? Without having anybody else's like exposure, like ideas, like rubbing off on my mentality of like what a run club should be. I truly brought like what my idea of what it should be. And then going the other day to a run club, like it was a more like run focused run club and whatnot. And it was kind of nice just like being like a fly on the wall. I just showed up to hang out. I didn't run because I had to go to baseball practice, but you know, it was just kind of cool seeing like the different dynamics and like people different, like a different energy, like, and it was nice. It was a great run club, like no shade at all, but it was just like nice to see like something else for once that wasn't mine.
And I think going out, seeing other run clubs, but also just going out and talking to people and seeing other things, you could take that in and create that experience for the brand you're trying to create.
Yeah. And that's the other side of like Loose Lace starting is like I've always said like I've wanted to start my own brand. I love clothes, I love fashion, and so like there's always an aspect of like, you know, almost in a way of like being another Minted in a way, like
well, now you get to put your personality and your flair on it.
Exactly. And like and you know, creating clothes and fashion and whatnot, like I don't know if like Loose Lace would be the name down the road. But I've also had ideas of like opening up my own coffee shop and like doing like a coffee shop boutique run store, like combination how they have like in LA, and like Houston's just not a spot for that stuff. And like it's untapped and I would love to be that.
But all of these could all come together and lead towards that. And I think ultimately creating that experience, right?
Exactly. Like this is like, I do these events and, you know, as I go and as I create partnerships and stuff, like it's going to lead me to the place where I should be. Right. And not putting, whoa, that's crazy.
Whoa, never seen the lights.
That's insane. That'll be a good cut. Yeah. That'll be a good cut. But no, just creating these partnerships and like continuing to do these events will like lead me to where I need to be, and like not putting so much thought of like, okay, like what do I need to be? What do I need to be? It'll present itself. Yeah. And when I see like a fork in the road where like what direction I want to go, I'll pick the one that I think is most suitable. And we'll go that route and we'll see what happens. So, you know, there's other thoughts of just like, it can't be a one-man show forever. Like I've got to find some other people to help me. And like, that's another job in its own of like finding someone that like I believe in, that person understands the vision and understands the aesthetic and like what Loose Lace is. And like shares the same like creative mind in a way, but also brings other things to the table too. But someone I can ultimately trust. And like, that's hard to find. And I think that could help me a lot. And because I also need that so I can, you know, invest other energy into other things that we can grow into. So, you know, there's a lot of ideas and a lot of things that like I've like doing more video content. Like it's hard just being the camera guy. And like, sometimes I have to invest and be like, okay, like, do I do photos today? Or like, do I just completely go away from photos and just do video? Like there's just things like that where it's like, I need to find some people to help. And I just, again, I'm so OCD and it's good, but it's also bad to a fault because then like I stop myself from like doing things because I'm just afraid like I'm not going to like deliver on the content side or something like that. Right. I'll miss. And it's
because you care so much about it. You know? But that's the challenge with having your own brand is kind of letting go on some things.
Yes. Yeah. That's the tough part, but no, I'm super thankful with like who it's led me to meet and like just like hearing other people's, you know, thoughts in the space and just kind of like, I think another thing that like I've found myself doing early on and like always reminding myself is, you know, we're unique and we're doing our own thing, but like sometimes I get caught in the space of like competitiveness with like other groups and I'm like, I'm my own thing. I'm not competing with these people. Like I'm bringing my own thing to the table. That's not what they do. And like, I shouldn't worry about them. Like what, like if I start worrying about other people and like trying to compete with them, I might lose my flair and lose what Loose Lace is. And I need to stick with this, like doing stuff with good people and growing stuff with good people. And that's great. And like, just believing in my taste and my vision. And that's what's going to make us unique. And, you know what, like I just thought of the quote, but Christian, who's the Adidas rep that we've had here, who I've grown to be good friends with, but like we got coffee once and he was just telling me his life story. And he was just like, dude, like at the end of the day, like I just realized like if I put good energy in the world's going to give me good energy back. And it's such a simple thing to remind yourself about and a simple way of like living. And it's so true. Like it's such a easy way to like step back and just be like, all I can do is just like give good and just be a good person and create good quality relationships with good people. And like things are just going to unwrap itself that way. So,
100% agree with that.
That's kind of been like what I've trying to like, if I'm in a bad place, that's kind of what I go to. It's just like, I think my most valuable quality is like just being a good relationships guy and like showing people I care and like just, investing in other people. And I think that kind of takes it, that'll take off on its own.